So Meher Baba,
More five.
so Meher Baba decided that he was going to not say anything, and he was just going to be God on earth and let people be in God's presence without saying anything. One of his famous quotes is, "Things that are real are given and received in silence." Ross, sit back in your chair. Are you sitting back? Ross?
Me or Ross?
Ross?
Yes?
Are you sitting back in your chair?
I couldn't see any.
Okay. Do you feel relaxed though?
Yes?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you why I've gone to all this trouble of doing this whole work all these years. Because I'm going to tell you right now what we have and what we are giving the world. And why it, and when I tell you, you will know why it's important. You know, you want to ask yourself a question. If a mother has a baby dying of dengue fever in her arms, does she need enlightenment? Does she need a better life? Does she need, you know, what does she need?
Cure.
She needs to cure the baby of the dengue fever.
Absolutely.
What we have to give and what we are giving. And here it comes. Wait for it. Here it comes.
Bless you.
What we are giving to the world is the ability for an illiterate, impoverished mother with no doctor anywhere near her, no access to the Mayo Clinic. She can't go, you know, she can't go for an MRI, can't even afford to go to a doctor. And she can teach her 4-year-old child to cure a potentially lethal, within days, viral-based disease in 20 minutes. And by the way, I called Ron, I guess it was last night or maybe the night before, I called Ron, because Ron is always showing people how to, you know, cure things like the flu at work, you know, and he works at the golf club, you know, people come to him all the time and they say, you know, feeling pretty bad, you know, and he'll go, okay, I'll show you how to cure it, and they walk away feeling better. It takes 20 minutes. He told me, I said, how long does it take? You know, these guys are working, they can't spend all day. You know, the person comes, they come on their, they get a 15-minute break, you know, so they come on their break. He helps them to cure it. So this is what we have, that the child can then cure, the 4-year-old child, not the mother, the 4-year-old child can then cure his own disease. That's what this is. And if you can remember that, you know, so, I don't know, maybe I should put that somewhere. As Greg was saying, you know, when you want to say something to somebody, you should write it up somewhere in the, you know.
I wrote it down.
But this is what we're giving. This is what we have. This is what we're giving. That's what cure is. When we talk about tipping cure, that's what we're talking about. And furthermore, imagine, as John Lennon would say, that imagine for a moment that here's a... Jen, let me ask you a question. Okay, I want you to picture a suicide bomber. He's 19 years old. He has his bomb strapped to his body and a big thing over it that's, so he can't see it. And he's going to walk into a sidewalk cafe, and he's going to blow himself and everybody in the cafe up. You got this guy in your mind?
Yeah.
Does he? Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question about him. Does he like looking at pictures of flowers?
Excuse me?
Does he like to look at pictures of flowers?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, Jen, what did you say?
I said sure he does.
He likes looking at pictures of flowers. Ross says no. Barb, what do you say?
Yes.
Okay. Franny?
It says yes.
Franny gets yes on the test.
Absolutely yes.
Okay.
He loves flowers.
Okay, we have
I
five.
have forgotten, but he does.
We have 5 ayes and 1 nay. Now I'm going to tell you that you're right. Everybody is affected when people lighten up. Everybody is affected when somebody is, dysfunctional and crazy, and then in the middle of it they cure it and they start laughing and they feel better. Now what would happen if this potential suicide bomber, he hasn't set the bomb off yet, so he's not a bomber yet, he has to detonate the trigger, so we still have a little time with him. Suppose he passes a TV on his way to the cafe, and somebody on the TV station, in a movie about a bank heist, it's a drama, a cop show about a bank heist, and the person cures something the way we cure it, and it just suddenly lightens up and starts laughing. Do you think that might affect this guy? Well, if he likes pictures of flowers, he probably likes seeing pictures of people cure things too. And, Ross, you seem to be the only one who thinks it probably won't affect him, but, you probably admit that it might affect him, right? It might affect one suicide bomber and not another, yeah? Could you...
What I understood by is that he liked looking at picture of flowers while he was going into the cafe to...
Well, anyway...
that's what I understood.
Okay.
That's why I say no.
Okay. Well,
Anyway, I still think a person who does that is not so keen on the beauty of life.
See, the thing is, okay, what we're talking about here, if you notice, we only have 6 people on this call. There are only 6 of us on this call. So, most people that we have personally interacted with thousands of people. Most of them have not been deeply affected enough to be on this call with us. But that doesn't mean they never will be, and it doesn't mean that, some suicide bombers might change their mind. If you see, the point is that what we have here, what we're giving the world, isn't just the cure for a child's viral-based disease. It's the key to ending pollution. And more. Ultimately, it will cure everything. This will cure everything ultimately. Starting with diseases and working out. Because go back to what Jen and Greg and maybe everybody was saying before. have here something that is going to change your whole life. Yes?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, since it changes your whole life, it's something you happen to want that. You're big on, like, you want to come out of your virtual reality, truly appreciate all the blessings of your relationships with your children, your husband, and like sometimes they're disappointing and annoying, and God knows that's my life. Couldn't resist saying that. But that.
And that leaves us.
Well, of course, I'm disappointing and annoying to other people too, and especially to the ones I live with. As a matter of fact, it's a point of pride with me being disappointed. Couldn't resist.
I don't believe that. I feel like you're trying all the time.
Oh.
Really?
Well, you have to say that when you're not on mute. Yeah.
I said Mark always trying to do different stuff. He just isn't very good at it.
I was identifying with Clint Eastwood character in the movie. He was saying, like, I can't do this, I can't change. I can't. It's funny.
He's this old guy with a young daughter,
like he just can't relate to her at all.
Yeah, but people around him changed, and he changed a smidgen.
Truly. Well, okay, so now we have covered what you've got, what you're given. Okay? That's the thing. In order to be on CureTeam, you really have to know what it is you're trying to do. That's, I think, a problem that we have had, is that we actually don't understand this very basic thing. Like, what is it we're giving people? I mean, we think we're giving them enlightenment. I can't blame you for giving up really soon when somebody says to you, hey, look, I don't need enlightenment, okay? I need money. I'm going to a money workshop. That's what I want to do.
and you go,
oh, great. That's probably the right thing for you to do. because
for sure, they just...
I think everybody's right, because enlightenment gives you a better life, and being able to cure something gives you a better life, and if enlightenment is to know that you can cure things, sometimes you gotta go to a workshop to, confront what's been blocking you from learning how to cure things. It's all related.
Okay. I think I was saying to you, Laura, that I was going to get back to you. Thank you for starting to talk, because you reminded me that I was. Because I think that's very important for us to do what I was planning to do. Just test this question. When I say that I need money, or I want to make money, or I want money, am I generating and living in a virtual reality?
Yeah.
Sure, because, see, you want to believe your virtual reality is that you want money, and maybe you don't.
No, my virtual reality is I want security. I want to know that if a car breaks down, I can bail myself out.
Okay, that's good. And you may not actually want security. You may want believe that you want security. See, wanting security may be something. It may be that you may be telling yourself that. Like if you wanted security, you'd have it. Does that make any sense to you?
Sure.
Okay. Like, it's a simple thing. We probably have what we actually want.
We definitely have what we actually want, but then it takes something to see that. Like that woman with the dying baby on some karmic level has what she wants.
Yes. And what we're trying to do is raise ourselves so that we have
something that is a higher level of wanting.
Yeah, we're trying to help people bring back the truth.
Well, for example, I keep saying that I want to cure the global consciousness in the world, and you can very well say to me, well, if you really wanted that, you would have done that already, or you would be doing it, and so on. And so I have to say, okay, well, then am I in a virtual reality? But so when I talk about you, of course, I'm trying to understand things for myself, too. Yeah.
That's why
I'm talking about you about it. Now, just test this. Everybody test this with Bart. Are you going to want to eat this or something? Okay. So what I want to ask is, when you were saying that, when I should lead into some other way. Okay, I'll tell you what, again, I will come back to you. How about that?
Hope I make it.
I'm going to start talking. If I don't see what I make, start talking to remind me I'm supposed to come back.
Don't worry, everything's okay over here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know, everything's great. Okay. Now,
just another day.
In the
story that I'm telling you about Nate, it's obvious that Nate is getting a lot of practice. And ultimately, his practice results in him tipping immunity into global consciousness. He tips cure, and it becomes something everybody knows they can do. And so Nate is getting a lot of practice. The question is, what exactly is Nate practicing? Barb, what would you say Nate is practicing? Just off the topic test.
Making himself feel good and despite the circumstances, like it's just feeding, the perceived reality. Like he gets himself into jams and then he unsticks himself and he shares about that. He's reminding himself and others that they can free themselves.
Okay, Ross, what would you say Nate is practicing?
I think he's practicing cure so that he can be so clear of disease and dysfunctions and conditions that he can manifest what he really wants.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like
I think I'll take Bootsy last. That's what I'll do. Tell you what, Barb and Russ, you go on mute. Greg, what would you say Nate is practicing?
Nate is practicing curing himself all the time. So it's a masterful pursuit of life. Everything he runs into, that he's going to be bigger and better, and if he meets somebody, their cure becomes part of his attention on what has to be cured. So it's like, it's like the full life he experiences fully himself in a curative manner, a curative perspective. Get my drift. I must credit you. You hit the key word there. I don't think you know which word it was, but you hit it. I'm going to have to mention that later. To give you more credit there for hitting that key word. Okay? Now, right now, go to Franny. What is Nate practicing?
I mean, doing things, curing yourself, doing things and communicating about it.
Okay. Now we go to
Franny,
Greg, I'm the last one,
other than
Bootsy.
Bootsy,
Bootsy, I wanted you to go last for a particular reason. So now we're to you. What would you say Nate is practicing?
Well, they said it all, but I'm going to go with he's practicing less.
Okay? Well, I'll tell you what, I think love is your issue these days.
Love?
And so it's good that you're
Love is in the air.
Mm. Okay, now, the reason I wanted you to go last is because I want to talk with you a little bit about this. You know, I ran across an old movie I think you'd enjoy, because you have Netflix, right?
I do. I hope, you know, the one online, I can't, they don't send me movies, I can't do that.
Yeah, but you have the one online. This is online. It's a movie called The Age of Hero. It's on the streaming. So The Age of Hero.
I'm writing it down.
And you would enjoy this.
It's
It's a typical sort of like commando movie. And I know you like that stuff, you know. And these guys, you know how in commando movies they always have the guys trained first when they go on the mission, right?
Yep.
Like no
No matter how
experienced, good they
are.
These guys
are very good. They're like, there's only about 6 of them going in to do this thing now. But they train like crazy before they go because they don't want to die, right?
Exactly.
So now, if you think about Nate, it becomes really easy to see what Nate is practicing because he's doing exactly the thing the commandos are doing. Nate is pretty good at curing things from the moment he starts curing things. He's pretty good at it. And he gets better and better and better as time goes on. And all the things that everybody said were all right. Great stuff. And it's practicing curing, it's practicing talking about it. Like somebody even said, like he's like curing and talking. True, he's learning how to talk about his stuff. That he should. He's learning how to talk about cure and about immunity and about. He's learning to tell the truth in a way that other people can hear. But the main thing that he's practicing, I think only Greg really touched on it.
So I will
come over
and talk about this with you now. Nate is practicing being big. You guys with me? Can you hear that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's so important about Nate, and Greg touched on it. He said that he's being big. Or something like that, didn't you, Greg? Yes. Greg says yes, he did. Yeah, because, see, being big doesn't necessarily come naturally to us. You know, when we're first brought into the world, our basic experience is of being small and other people being big for us. Our parents are big for us. Everybody, you see that, what I'm saying? Ross, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
We get used to being small. We get used to our parents telling us what to do, and smart parents give us things to do when we can barely walk. And, you know, we had a lot of big people 100 years ago because, you know, there was an awful lot of people who, like, almost as soon as they could walk, their father took them out and said, "Shoot that deer." You know, now we're gonna cut it up for meat for the winter. You know, and they would learn to do that with their parent, and they would just become very self-sufficient at a very young age. There's a lot of very self-sufficient people in the world, you know, and a lot of things changed about that. And you know, Franny is a very big person, and when I think about why, like I have to think one reason is that she and her father built a house together when she was 12 years old. I mean, they did the electrical wiring and whatever, you know. And you get big doing that stuff. Now, Barb, I promised you that I would get back to you. So,
Did you?
Go off mute, and this is where I come in. And remember, you were in this movie with us yesterday, and you were saying that you were kind of identifying, this is what you were trying to do, is you were trying to identify what goes wrong in your relationships, and you were saying, I meet this person and the person is interested in me. And the first thing, or after a while, what I start doing was showing them all these bad things about me, like doing all these bad things so that they're, you know, not going to like me.
Well, that's not really why I do them. Actually, in my mind, I'm doing them just so they can make their choice with all the information.
Yes,
front, you know?
yes. You're doing them.
That's why I want to have someone who knows everything and doesn't care.
Thank you. What you're basically...
It's actually coming from a bigger place, like you said.
What you're actually doing is you're trying to deliver information.
Yeah, definitely.
And the information you're delivering is, I am not big.
No, that I'm not perfect. I mean, when most people meet me through seeing me all over the internet or the bigness of me. So what I'm wanting to do is just balance it out, make it real.
See, the thing that you think you're doing may not actually be what you're doing. So why don't we see if everybody can do a little testing, okay? Is Barb trying to say, when she does those things, is she trying to say, you can't depend on me to be big for you?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We can't hear you, Franny.
I guess yes.
I get yes.
Jen, what do you get?
I got yeah.
Now, but suppose we're all wrong, Barb, and your test is correct. And you are just simply trying to be big and say, I'm not perfect, okay?
I'm just showing who I am. I'm just showing myself.
Just showing yourself. Now, that being the case,
I'm saying,
don't you think that even though you're not trying to say, I can't be here for you, isn't that what anybody would get when they look at you doing those things?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, everybody test that, and Barb gets yes on that, right?
Well, that might, I mean, if they...
That's what people, that's what I get.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I guess yes.
So to get back to our topic, which is tip and cure.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about that. Like, given what you said, if what we're doing is being big, which I get is, yeah, that's true. And I think, also, people have been big throughout the ages, and people are big every day when they get themselves out of bed and they don't feel like it. I've lived with people who, had to surpass themselves every day, and they, we look like frivolous to them sometimes, or I did. But what if at the end of the movies, instead of saying, cheer, drive, or go join the web college, we just say, hey, this has been a movie of people being big and surpassing themselves, and go out and be big today and tell us how you did it. Like getting more people involved. It looks very elite, like special, like we're doing this special thing that you have to learn the language of, when you're really talking about something very basic that, people have, like Jesus Christ did it. So we're trying to sometimes I think to too many people we're trying to sell our way of doing things, or our formula, or our, thing. That's like a lot of my friends, that's
okay.
what they think.
Thank you. And you know what? You say a lot of good things in these meetings, and this is one of them. This is something, what you just said, is something I am going to implement.
Yeah, I'd like to get more user feedback. I'm getting some a little bit. You guys probably are too, but people don't know how to jump in because it's a different, makes it look so...
I'm telling you that I think that you have something here. What you're saying is really... This is a very incisive thought about this. That, like Greg was saying, if you want to say something to people, put it up there. And we are seeing, there's a reason why nobody knows what Nate is practicing, or why nobody knows what we're giving. And the reason is the guy who's supposed to be knowing what to say and saying it, I didn't say it. So this has to change, and I thank you. And to be continued. We can't we have 10 minutes until 1:30.
Yeah.
But this is one of your better days for this, okay? You have done thousands of things like this. It's one reason I love you so much, You are brilliant, Barb. Brilliant.
Brilliant, I say.
Brilliant, I say.
She is.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I've been doing this a long time.
Well, you save my butt all the time. And of course, one reason Cure hasn't tipped is because I'm flawed, But thank God I have a brain trust of people here who are on the ball. And that's why not everybody can be on the Cure team. But I tell you what, the oddest people you would never expect to be great on the Cure team are. And I also think that everybody who has been in these meetings has made a contribution of some kind to me. That I've gotten, even if they only came to one meeting, I've gotten things from these people that I can't get any other way. So I'm glad I'm doing this. So now, just to go on, I want to go on through the thing about tipping Cure, to go back to that. And thank you for helping me go back.
Can I tell you just two quick stories? They're really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I love stories.
I think we should all give ourselves credit that something has tipped a little. In my life, I was at a party one night, and I was in something, and my friend Michael, who's not an immuner at all, as you know, or but he's been in the periphery of my life. He goes, "Now Barb, stand up for a second. Now test on this." He starts testing me through a bunch of things, and he's a computer programmer, so he really gets the yes or no, he funneled me into my yes. It's now see, he goes see, everything you're thinking is wrong. When you test on it, it's right. And then last night, when I was feeling so terrible, even though I was in the middle of this huge, out of the the terrorist bomber about to just destroy everything. But I still had a little bit of awareness that it was not me. And I was talking to my mother, of all people, who's like 92. She's like the one who, like when I was little, was like, if I had a sniffle and I said, oh, I don't feel like going to school today, she'd say, oh, why don't you stay in bed and let's watch TV and all this stuff. But yesterday she goes, come on, Barb, get your fight on. Right. She goes, toughen yourself up now. Come on, you can do it. And I was like, whoa, well, where did that come from? Like, okay.
That's mom.
And so, like, I think, you know, that the message of like being bigger than what you're stuck in is starting to tip, but there's a ways around it. And then people like Michael, and he said to say hi to you and everything, which is rare, like he's never said that before. He wanted me to say hello to Bayard the other night. Like they're picking up the technology, that there is sort of a technique, you know, to tell someone to test. Like a lot of my partners and girlfriends or whatever didn't know what to do with me when I got to that place. They'd say, hey, test on what you're saying, to change your dimension, or are you low on magnesium? You know, I didn't have the right people around me to protect myself, so I had to. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that there is something changing.
These are, see, what I'm seeing is you're right. Obviously, around all of us, Cure is tipping a little bit.
Yeah.
We are not getting away with the dumb things we used to get away with. People, your friend Michael is calling you on it. He's telling you no.
Michael's great.
No good.
He gets it. And then after he's done, he goes, do I get a cure? Is that going to be on the can you add that to the cure?
Yeah, you can add that. You can tell him you added a cure into the tally for him because he cured some. Michael helped somebody cure something.
He had an assist.
Yeah, he helped somebody cure something. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my neighbors do not, as far as I know, cure things, but more than one of them have said to me in a very reverent tone, you guys are doing great work.
Yes. Yeah, I've had that too.
And they appreciate it.
I think it would be fun to have an easy way for them to jump in, because if they can see it, that means they're doing the same kind of thing.
So now that we have this thing that Nate, the thing with the Nate story is that the Nate story is enabling me to understand what has interfered with Ross or Jen or Franny tipping Cure into global consciousness, or doing something that would contribute to that, where you know, like they could have done something but it didn't happen. Like, why is that? And one thing is that we are all pretty much at the very beginning of Nate's story. We simply don't have very much practice. And what we're trying to practice here, even though, like, sometimes we talk to Ross about what she writes. For example, I'm going to do that right now. Ross, go to your Twitter, and everybody go to Ross's Twitter. And I'm going to go to Ross's Twitter. And when I do, let's see if I can get there this way. The A-list, members, I go to, where's members? And I'm going to Ross's homepage on Twitter. And what I'm looking at here is Ross's, description of herself, and it says I'm a minister in the CureDrive.org. See that? Mm-hmm. Looking at her description. Now, let me give you a heads up. Ross, just for your information, you know how we've been saying that Nate has a real asset in herpes, because a lot of people want to cure herpes, right?
Yeah.
And Nate is curing herpes, so people follow him on Twitter so they can watch him cure it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Now, I have a program, a computer program, that tells me how many people search on a certain term. And I, in a month, and I put herpes into it. I put cure herpes in, the words cure herpes. and I got the number 60,000 people. Okay? See, that's a lot of people to search on something. And that, with Bootsy, by the way, with thyroids,
Yeah.
22,000, about a third.
Wow.
But, you know, you're getting hits on your thyroid, just so you know. And also the movie we made on water fasting,
Yeah.
lots of hits the first week
Wow.
for our movie. I think people search on fasting. Okay, now, Ross, I put in Immunix. Guess how many people searched on it?
I was
Very few. Yeah, like 23 people total. Nothing. Get it?
Yes.
It's
You
23.
don't know what it is.
23 people is nothing. Okay, so I'm a minister at Immunix is not exactly, you know, going to be a big draw, is it?
I wrote, I'm a minister in the CureDrive.org.
Oh, I put in the Cure Drive too. I got like 110. Okay, now, let's do this though. Guess how many people searched on quit smoking?
I have no idea, but I bet a lot of people.
823,000.
Wow.
823,000 is approximately 20 times or 10 times or something, isn't that? 600,000 would be 10 times, so about 15 times the number of people that search on herpes, right? So on this masthead, what should the first two words of your masthead be?
Quit smoking.
Yeah.
What?
I stopped smoking.
How about just the simple words, quit smoking, which is what I searched on.
Oh. Okay.
And then the date,
Okay.
so that they know how long you've been off. And then the, you could say, by removing cravings with Immunix, or you could say whatever you want.
But Bayard, there is a thing to take into consideration. I can write this thing on my profile, but again, I have a limited number of words.
Yes, I know. But if you look at, you have to erase what you have there. Get it?
Yeah, sure. Yes, but also doing that. I mean, you told me, I changed what I have on my Twitter profile because you told me to write I'm a minister in the Cure Drive, and I did it.
Oh, that you should put on your Facebook wall. You know, there's an occupation place on your Facebook wall where you should put that. And also, you know what else? If you notice on my Twitter masthead, I have the file name of the Cure Drive movies and the Cure Drive homepage. I have both web addresses, so people can just click on my masthead and they can go to either place. They can go to the movies of view, or they can go to the Cure Drive homepage. And Franny will help you do this. We don't have time to do it right now, but Franny can help you do this, you know, at some point. But see, the thing is, you're tweeting, so, you know, you deserve to have a masthead that, you know, represents you and your accomplishment more completely.
Okay, thank you.
See, so now to go on, again, to go back to the main thread, what we are seeing is that all these things that Nate learns along the way, we haven't learned them yet. The practice that Nate gets, we haven't had. And see, Nate isn't doing this to be a big person. He doesn't know he's practicing being big. He's just trying to cure his herpes, and he realizes that if he tweets every time he cures something, he's just more likely to cure the next thing. Remember what you said, Ross, before about how when you tweeted, you cured something. When you tweeted that tweet, you cured something. And Nate feels that. And see, you don't feel that when you first start tweeting. A lot of the time you have to get more and more exact, and at some point you hit a tweet where you go, okay, you know, I really got something out of saying that.
Yeah, that's right.
And that takes time to get to that place, and you have got to that place at this point. You're a few days further in the Nate story than maybe other people are. I want everybody to test, again, when I read Ross's tweets, do I feel, am I stronger for that?
He said yes before. I test yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes!
Okay, so here's something you can do for yourself to stay in touch with people who are alive and kicking and doing something for themselves. That's what this Twitter newsfeed has turned out to be, more like about that than about, you know, tipping anything, because I don't even know if we're going to be tipping something, you know, this way exactly. So, that being said,
does anybody have anything else they want to talk about or get into or share? What came up for you during this, you know?
I was really impressed by the thing that when we come into this world, we are small, and so it's difficult to think of us as being big. I mean, it's natural, but I never thought of it before, and I think it's important because we are used to, at least I am used to being small.
Say that again, Ross.
I am used to being small because when I was born, I was small, and then I saw my parents and my relatives as bigger than me.
Right.
So you get that idea in your mind, and you feel small. And I didn't pay attention to that before, but we have to start feeling big.
Yeah, me too.
Because
maybe you can say, you want to make a pro action or something right now? Because I don't see you as small at all. Like maybe say that like it was in the past. I had the same thing, being the youngest child and all that, or being crippled, whatever. Yeah. So like, because I don't see you. I mean, right now you seem like a leader actually, or a, you know, like an innovator. We just say I'm a big person. You get yes.
You do, because in the face of being small, you are big. You choose to be big.
You could remove your tendency to be small and
okay, I am removing my tendency to feel small. Yes? I choose to be big. Yes, I guess yes. Thank you, Barb.
Is everybody doing that?
install the reflex to be big in every moment.
Installing the reflex of being big in every moment. Done. Great. Thank you.
Ross.
Hey, Barb.
You're a blessing.
You know, see, the thing I just want to share about Franny is I don't know if I've ever seen a moment where Franny was being anything but big.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Really funny about that. I just noticed that. And it's been good for me to be around her. See, the thing is that people are attracted to a big person because they feel like it's good for them to be around this person. And I notice, like, people are attracted to Franny, like, just in life, you know, and generally, you know, that she just, like, bonds with people because she really is there for them, you know. I mean, she just will, like, it's one reason like Franny kind of stays away from people, because when she gets involved with them, she'll do anything for them. You know, she just, what they can't do, she will do if they need it. You know, it's the way she is.
I just find it really cool.
Jen, how are you relating to all this? You got any ideas? Having ideas?
Ideas. Let's see. Well, I need to do more stuff on Twitter. That's what I got. That if I do that, that'll cure more things. And that's what I'm here to do, so I need to do that.
Yeah, do it for yourself.
Right.
You know? And,
yeah.
But see, the thing is that here Nate is doing this for himself, and
right.
he ends up being big for everybody. He reminds me a lot of the character in Dances with Wolves. You know, the main character, who, like, remember when he's at the beginning of the movie, the guy's he's narrating. It's a stream of consciousness narration, and he's saying, "I want to go see the West before it's gone." Remember that?
I did see it, but it's been a long time.
Right. Well, anyway,
I'll take your word for it.
I mean, he's doing it for the hell of it.
Right.
You know, that's why he does it. Barb, mute, because you're.
Sorry.
So he's doing it for the hell of it, you know. But he's going to go on his adventure, and he never feels like he's a big fighter or anything. But he always ends up saving the day. You know, he just learns as he goes, and he ends up being big for everybody, and protecting the tribe. And you know, in the Nate story, there's a point after Nate has a lot of practice where somebody comes along and says, "I can't do this without a coach." You know, and the guy's good. The guy is great at it, you know. But the guy calls him up and he says, "I can't do it." You know, this guy Jim, one of my characters in this novel of Nate that I'm writing, calls him up and he says, I can't do this without a coach. And then he shares with Nate that, Bootsy, have you ever, you told me that you have gone to people's houses and trained them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my friend Megan, by the way, who looks a little like you, she had 3 clients, you know, and she went to one at 6, one at 7, and one at 8. And she did that like 5 days a week for years, these same 3 guys. Same guys, you know. And they did it because they were heads of brokerage houses, and they knew that if somebody didn't show up to train them, they were going to wake up and start thinking about stock prices and who they had a phone, and this guy's going to call me, and what am I going to do about this? And never would they have turned on an exercise video in a million years. So they needed this girl to knock on the door and say, "Stop what you're doing, get down on the floor and give me 50, mister." And they did, you know, and so they kept training. They were all killed in the World Trade Center attack.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. They all died that day, and the next day Megan woke up. She was very traumatized by that. I didn't realize how traumatic that was for her. I wasn't as here for people then, even though we were doing immunics and all, but it wasn't the same. You know, we didn't have the Cure Drive. And the Cure Drive really makes it different. But anyway, no, Megan had other clients. I mean, she trained mostly women all day, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, these guys, it was really like a hole in her life. Just blew a gigantic hole in her life. She cared about them so much. But anyway, you know, so, you know, anyway, this guy calls Nate and says basically the same thing. "I can't do it." But that's because Nate is big. And no matter what else, like Nate is on the phone with this guy saying, "Well, gee, you know, I've never coached anybody, and I've never really thought about it, so I don't know if I could coach you, but hey, I could give it a try. Why don't we call Greg and see what he thinks? And see, Nate doesn't realize, but he is being big even in that moment. And that's like that guy in Dances with Wolves. He doesn't act, super sure of himself or anything, but he is competent. And he manages to pull off all these, like feats of daring do. I mean, you remember when the Indian runs at him like he's going to attack him, and then the Indian rides off, and he just stands there looking at the Indian when the Indian rides at him, and then the Indian rides off and he faints. He just, remember that? Like he falls over backwards. And that's like, that's really like what Nate is like. He's, but he'll just push on. He wants to cure it. And also, he's afraid he won't be able to tweet. And at that point, it's sort of like humiliating if he doesn't cure something and he can't tweet about it. Like, he doesn't want, like if he's sick, he doesn't want to be tweeting about, oh, I feel lousy, oh, I just got a herpes outbreak. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Oh, I feel, God, I was talking to this girl and I didn't know what to say. It's like, he doesn't want to say that stuff. He wants to cure it. Ross, are you following this?
Yes.
Okay, good. Sometimes I wonder, I just have to check, But you know what? It's nice to see.
Trust me. You don't trust me. It's dysfunctional.
Okay, let me test. Do I trust? I get that I trust you when I test.
Okay.
Anyway, this is it for our meeting, guys. But I just want to say thank you, and it's been really great for me. And I'm going to implement what you said to me, Barb. I'm not going to forget this. That was good. I'm going to use this, okay? Just so you know. This could be a big deal. This could turn out to be one of those big deal things you've done. Barb is the person who told me to make movies. Did you know that?
What's so big?
No, I didn't know.
Yep. Franny did later too, but Barb was...
You were strong.
It started with Barb, though. We were out in the park, and Barb told me to make movies.
Big Barb.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she has the big idea, Barb has the big idea.
You can start showing your face again, Byron. I think people might like that.
Thanks, Barb. Thanks. I will do. This movie was given to you by HUM, the World Ministry of Immunics, which enables you to cure medically incurable diseases. We also produce the Cure Drive and the iCollege of Immunics. This is the home page. And as you see here, the movie that starts playing automatically when the page opens is a 3-hour tutorial film, which underneath it is the beginning of a series of movies. If you click on these links, you go to another movie that's a continuation of the tutorial, showing different aspects of the things that people need to get into when they cure things. The movie shows many people curing things. You'll find complete cure tutorials on the home page. Under the group at the top is another, this is a video and text tutorial, and if you click on the link, you'll see it has 10 lessons, and you can click on each lesson and you'll see that the lessons are movies interspersed with explanations. And if you continue scrolling down the home page, you'll find a huge bank of movies of people curing things. Here's one of someone curing multiple sclerosis that you can click on and these play. Hopefully this one will play in a moment. There it is. So that woman cured PPMS and MS. Here you'll find people from every continent: Europe, the US, Asia, Canada. This woman cured shingles, and in this particular movie that's what she's demonstrating. And at the top of the home page you will find links to the cure meetings that we have every week. 9 p.m. New York time, Rome time 8 p.m. underneath the Cure meetings, you'll find a link to friend me. It's actually Byard. I'm Byard, speaking to you on Facebook. And you'll meet many people who are my Facebook friends there who have cured various diseases. Many of us have cured herpes, which is what I cured. Also there, if you have trouble getting signals, there is a whole bank of movies that focus on people who are just starting to get their first signals. Many of these people went on to bigger and better things, and you see them in other movies. But these are movies about their signals, how they got their first signals. At the very top of the home page, you will find above the masthead a link to the Cure shows. And we documented people curing things on, we did this on the phone. There are shows on about 75 diseases, and the diseases are listed alphabetically, as you can see. You actually hear the people curing these diseases during these shows. That's post-traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the catastrophe. We have a show on that, and fever, somebody curing the fever, several people curing fibromyalgia, flu. We had a flu hotline, and there are many people. These people are actually curing flu, and the flu stops. It clears up during the 15 or 20 minutes of the call. It doesn't take long to cure the flu. Over here you have paralysis, parasitic parenting, Parkinson's disease. When you cure something, please join your voice with the voices of the many people who came before you by reporting your cure in our poll, which you can do right above the tally of the cures that people have reported is here at the top. And as you can see, there's a little link here. And if you click on that, you will come to a form that enables you to report your cure. This page is the hub of the Web College, and as you can see, there are detailed lessons on how to remove viruses, cure cancer. Here's a movie on the right here of a doctor who actually years ago cured the flu on camera. You'll notice that skill 1 in the hierarchy of skills is cure physical diseases. That's actually the easiest thing with this particular approach. And I've put a great many things in the hierarchy of skills that relate to curing physical diseases, such as ending trauma, working on your organs. Now, if we go into the Recode Your DNA, there are 10 applications or 11 applications, and Recode Your DNA is one of them. If we go inside here, what we see is a page with a huge amount of links. And then if we look at the links on the right, after the ones on the left which prepare you, these are the actual lessons. And you can see some of them. It might be hard for some people to see why blind installation procedure is related to recoding your DNA. And this is why we've put it in this application, so that it relates it in your mind. This is the reason the Web College is organized the way it is to relate things for you in your mind. And obviously there are a huge number of things, like if you're curing cancer or herpes or any medically incurable disease, it's obvious that there are a great many things that you have to learn. And they're different for everybody. You do not have to learn everything that's listed here. And in fact, cure is instantaneous. And it's always unexpected how it will come. Like, watch these women. They're going to give you a perspective. This is a good way to conclude this little overview I'm giving you here. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes? I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay, both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too.
No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension.
I feel clear.
Yeah, I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension.
Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.
Well, I mean, this would take a lot of backstory, but there are some decisions that my family's making that I now feel clear about.
Yes, because when you have that perspective from the 144th dimension,
yeah,
you simply don't care about anything as much.
That's exactly it. But I don't care doesn't sound so good.
Well, see, that's right.
But it's it. That's really
not in effect.
When people hear we say we don't care, they go, "Well, God, that's sick," you know.
I know.